Good morning once again. Our message affirmation today: Spirit supplies all that I need. And we know that Spirit absolutely does supply all that we need. And I know a lot of us, we go through life and we have our jobs, or we may have our retirement check or whatever form of income, and we think that's the source. But the reality is that God is the source of our supply. Everything comes through God, Spirit. Everything comes through Spirit. And it's wonderful when we understand that, and that becomes the realization of our lives, because we also then stop worrying about things like, what if I lose my job, or what if the mutual fund my retirement comes from goes bust, or all the things that people worry about as life, as human beings, as humans, as we walk through this human experience. As we talk about so often, we're spiritual beings, but we are walking through a human experience, and the human element comes into things. But when we can stand back and understand and realize that it's actually God who supplies all of these things, and we come to realize that and understand that and focus on that, why then we come to a place where there's never any lack or never any limit. All of our needs are met. And of course, in New Thought and metaphysical faith belief systems like ours is, we are really big supporters of prosperity. We know that we are meant to be prosperous. We are meant to have lives of great happiness, great health, and great prosperity in all things. And of course, to do that, we need to work on that. We need to have our minds in a spiritual place so that we are open and receptive to receiving these things. And our goal for the week that we set out for everybody is, let gratitude to Spirit for all things be first on your mind. So if you go to work on Monday morning and you have a boss, or uh, some circumstance or situation, whatever's going on, know that Spirit is actually providing everything for you, and be grateful. Be grateful from the minute you get up and realize that you have a roof over your head, that there's food for you to eat, that whatever it is that you need, God is providing that to you. So stop and be grateful for that. First of all, make sure that we are grateful to Spirit in all things, because a lot of us, sometimes we get maybe a little ahead of ourselves in life, and we give the credit to ourselves because we've secured this job, or because we've secured some sort of retirement income or whatever. But we first need to be thankful to Spirit, because that's where it all comes from. That's where it all comes from. And today I wanted to talk a little bit about the ways that we indeed do thank Spirit, and the ways that we do increase all of the things in our lives that we need. Because so often we get so far away from that. And one of the big things that I wanted to talk about, because as we've begun this new joint venture here, the Angelus Fellowship and the Unity of Long Beach, we've introduced a lot of the affirmations. A lot of affirmations get used. And we believe in the power of affirmations. And in fact, if any of you recall, in our scripture lesson today, we took from the book of Job, where it said, "Thou shalt also decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee." This is very important to understand, that by decreeing a thing, by claiming it, it shall be established unto thee. And an affirmation, a lot of people sometimes look at the things we say, the affirmations that we use, and they, well, it's just this collection of words that you guys say, and I don't know, why are you saying it three times, or why do you do these various things? And there's a logical reason for everything. And first of all, we take this from Scripture that tells us, and we read this also in the book of John, we read this in many, many places, this same exact philosophy, that thou shalt decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee. These are very important words. It's very important to understand. And an affirmation is a statement of something we believe to be true, not something we're seeking or what we want. We come from this mindset that I know this is true. So when we say that God is the source of our supply, or when we say Spirit supplies all that I need, it's not something we're hoping for or asking for. It's something that we absolutely believe to be true. And that's a very important thing in the use of affirmations, and in the use of any positive statement. We need to understand and know it to be true. We can't say these things and not quite believe them, because we know when we read in the scriptures all these wonderful miracles that Christ the way shower performed. And I've talked about this before. We don't read how Christ went to lay his hands and raise somebody from the dead, that, he secretly turned aside and said, "Oh, goodness, I hope this works. I'll be really embarrassed if it doesn't." No, we know that Christ had faith in what he was doing. When he raised people from the dead, when he cured illness, His faith was that strong, and he knew that this connection with God was going to work. And we, as humans, have been told in the scripture, we know Christ said, "These things that I do, you will do all this and more." And it's a matter of connecting to that faith. It's being that strong in our faith. And a lot of us, as we talk about so often, we are spiritual beings, but we're living this human experience. And so we bring so much of our childhood and the world around us, so many things into our daily life, which is why we call ourselves truth students. All of us here who are studying the way shower Christ, we're truth students. We're learning. We're learning along the way as we go. And we know, reading through the scriptures, that Christ, he just got it. He had that understanding, and his faith was so strong. He knew that whenever he affirmed something, when he said, "This water is going to be wine," or "This person is going to be healed," or "This person is going to be risen from the dead," his faith was so strong in God that he knew that that was going to happen. There was never any doubt in his mind. And a lot of times, we as humans, even when we affirm something wonderful, there's still that fragment of doubt. And even myself, as a New Thought student for many, many years, and certainly I've delved and studied a lot, there still is that little fragment of doubt or disbelief or that little bit of, "Oh gosh, I hope this works," when you do these things. And so that's why we're students, because we're learning, we're getting closer and closer and closer to that understanding. But certainly in that process of learning and getting closer, our lives become so much better. So by staying connected to spirit, we keep our minds in a positive place. And that's why it's so important when we understand that spirit supplies everything that we need, that in order for this to happen, we need to stay connected to spirit. We need to stay connected to God. And we do that by using these affirmations. And we do that by keeping our mind in a positive place. And of course, by doing wonderful, good, positive, and outgoing things. Staying connected to spirit, we keep our mind in a positive place. And going back to our affirmations and our use of affirmations, and as we know, we read in the scriptures, and this was just one I selected, and there are so many in there that tell us this same exact thing, that thou shalt also decree a thing, you'll say it, and it shall be established unto thee. And we use this process of repeating affirmations, and this has been certainly in our fellowship since the 1920s when it was first established, uh, because we know, hopefully all of you went through a similar process back when we were in grade school, when you did your multiplication tables, or when you wrote out your spelling words. You didn't just write it once and go on and say, "Okay, now I know it." I mean, we all went through that process of doing things multiple times over, multiple times over, multiple times over. And so this is the process when we use affirmations, because as I mentioned, we are students. We're still studying, we're learning, we're following the steps of the way shower. So when we use these affirmations, we do repeat them multiple times to affirm it, to establish it in our mind as a thing that is true, something that we know is true, and that is definitely something that is going to be established unto us, unto us. And so as you go through the week, and as you look back, and as you look all around you at all the things that you have in your life, and sometimes we as humans, we fall into that human experience where we may see, the Joneses are living with so much more, and we might feel like there's lack and there's limit, because you know what, we don't have the newest shiniest car, and we don't live in the biggest house on the street, and we don't maybe have the biggest paycheck every week, but we do have so much, and we always have so much to be grateful for. And we know that spirit, God, is actually what is supplying this need.